For me, there is no other you. Please love me too. This is my prayer. Answer my prayer now, baby. This is my prayer. Answer it right now, baby. Say you love me too. Answer my prayer. This is my prayer, baby.
Madam Clerk, could you call the roll for the
A quorum is present for City Council, Successor Agency, and Housing Authority.
public comment? Any persons wishing to address the council on any item on today's agenda may do so.
My name is Joseph Texera, and I object to all consent calendar and warrant register payments regarding the police department until Chief Fronterata comes here and explains why he is allowing complaints against officers to be ignored and why the public is being denied the chance to even make complaints against officers. I filed no less than 4 officer complaints against 5 officers, one more than 5 years ago. Chief Fronterata confirmed receipt of 2 of those, but in the last 5 years, IPD has not reported the closure of any of those complaints. One of them was for assault right here in this chamber. I have told this council about the problem several times, and the LA County DA sent a letter to the city about this long ago. Also, IPD desk officers refuse to give information to the public about filing complaints against officers. That is against the law. This council knows about it, and it has done nothing. Nothing to make sure that officers do what they're supposed to do. If someone is assaulted in this chamber and this council does not do anything, how can anyone expect that they're going to do something if somebody's mistreated on the street? This is something that is unacceptable. If a chief of police cannot come in here and explain why complaints are not addressed for over 5 years, then it's clearly a corrupt system. Clearly. And if this council doesn't do anything about it, even though I've come here several times, and even though the DA has sent this council messages, a letter saying that this is a problem, then this is a corrupt council.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood, California. 53 years resident here in the beautiful city, and I support the Chief of Police 100% and this council. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, council members. Again, I'm going to tell you that I would appreciate the meetings were held when the general population could attend if they actually have a job. But I will also tell you that most of this community probably is not aware that the chief is among the highest paid in the state for this little tiny city of 9 square miles. But I'm going to go on to item 01 and tell you that I also find it offensive that we're going to have someone who used to be a secretary type at topping out $108,000 salary a year, not a lifetime, a year. And that comes on the heels of when I asked you guys to put some after school and other day recreation leaders at our local parks, which used to be paid about $12 an hour. I was told we don't have enough money. How is it we have enough money for one employee to get $312,000 or cost us $534,000, and now the potential of $108 $1,000 plus benefits, but we cannot afford someone for $12.50 an hour. You know that park that you were so hot and heavy to tell everyone I lived across the street from? You'd probably have a meltdown if I gave away your address. It's quite that way. But you've done that to at least a couple people in this community. And you know what's really sad about that? You've already had a hospital run out of that park because you didn't have someone there. You've had another child who got injured. So that great park that you're so hot on celebrating, you wanted to name something for Latino? Why did you not name it for the people who helped create it? One of them would have been a Jose Raimundo. I guess the problem was you didn't like his last name because it was a Jose Raimundo who helped create the park that you want to celebrate. And you left his name off, probably because it was Zambrano, kind of like mine. Oh my goodness, funny how that works, isn't it?
Public comment. Item 1, CSA 2 and H1.
Warrant register.
Move allow payment.
Madam Clerk.
Council and agency members. City Council, Successor Agency, and Housing Authority members. Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Consent calendar items 2 through 6.
So move. Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members. Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Joint consent calendar items 7 in CSA 3 and 8 in CSA 4.
Staff report recommending approval of an agreement for the acquisition of a temporary construction easement for 2 properties located at 4821 West Century Boulevard and 4949 West Century Boulevard.
Move approval.
Second.
Can we take
Oh, we
those
have to
votes separate?
City Council move approval.
City Council first?
Okay, City Council first.
Thank you. And the motion on that?
I made it.
Second.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Second.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Council member, successor agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye.
Number 8 CS4, SA4.
Called it.
Staff report recommending approval of the purchase and sale agreement between the City of Inglewood and Inglewood LLC to secure 1,308 square foot of right-of-way from a larger parcel located at 4801 Century Boulevard needed to implement the Century Boulevard Mobility Improvement Project, Sub-Area 3.
Move item 1, city council item.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Successor agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. 1.
Before we do O1, Mayor, we have to go to CI1, which is your initiative first, and then we can go back to O1.
Okay.
Right, that would make.
Okay, it's recommended that the City Council amend fiscal year 2018-2019 salary ordinance to include the following. The state of California is changing the minimum wage in January to, I think, $13 an. Oh, she did call that. I'm sorry, call the item, ma'am.
Mayor James T. Buds Jr. recommending amending the fiscal year 2018-19 salary ordinance to increase the minimum wage for the City of Inglewood municipal employees.
Okay, I'm making a recommendation again that we increase effective October 1, 2018, the minimum salary for City of Inglewood municipal employees at $13.09 an hour, and effective July 19, 2019, to increase the minimum salary for Inglewood municipal employees to $15.05 an hour.
Move items 1 and 2.
Second.
Oh, July 1st, 2019. But before we do that, I want to comment, okay? Effective January 1st of 2018, the minimum wage in the state of California will increase to $11 an hour for employers with 26 or more employees. And that hourly rate will increase in increments of $1 annually through January 1st, 2022, resulting in a minimum wage of $15 an hour. The city of Inglewood's been a leader in stabilizing municipal finances. As of August 21st, 2018, we are projected to finish the fiscal year of 2017-2018 with an over $30 million surplus. Our unobligated general fund reserve will be over $55 million. By operating in a disciplined and responsible fiscal manner during the financial crises of years past, the City Council has been able to balance budgets which in fiscal year 2010-2011 had a revenue shortfall of $18 million. We have quintupled our unobligated reserves from 2011. There was a statement made by Moody's a couple years ago that as a percentage of our spending plan, our unobligated reserves far exceed those of any city in the country that they rate. We've maintained a decreasing crime rate, and we've invested millions in infrastructure renewal. We've purchased new police vehicles, portable radios, a new computer-aided dispatch and record system. The work, leadership, and decisions that we have made have situated the city to obtain investment interest from major sporting entities, the NFL, the NBA, the NC2A, and the Olympics, and FIFA, along with art and entertainment organizations, the LA Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, and Madison Square Garden. The ongoing strategic ascension of Inglewood has garnered multi-billion-dollar investments that require large-scale construction activities. During negotiations with developers, the City Council negotiated for goal-oriented employment for local hire opportunities, paying prevailing union-scale wages to be included in our development agreements. These agreements not only benefit the Inglewood community, with local hiring goals as high as 35%, in implementation, they have contributed to a decrease in the unemployment rate in Inglewood from over 17% in 2010 to 4.8% in May of 2018. We've been able to afford raises for our employees. We now pay salaries that are comparable to neighboring cities. This strong financial position now affords the city the opportunity to be a leader in the state by providing our lowest paid employees a livable wage. With the upcoming unveiling of the Los Angeles Stadium Entertainment District and the surge in other new developments within the city of Inglewood, the forecast revenue commencing in 2020 will be sufficient to sustain the proposed salary increases to provide the state-mandated minimum wage for 2022 for City of Inglewood employees by July of 2019. This will be a proud accomplishment for a once struggling city. The majority of employees that make now, I think it's $12 an hour, are part-timers, and they're the ones that are hardest pressed to navigate life. I think it's only fair that they receive this increase on top of any increases that we plan for the other employees. Therefore, I'm recommending that the fiscal year salary ordinance be amended at the time of the first reading to include the proposed changes. Before the council members comment, I wanted to have Mr. Esparza give a presentation on our financial situation, because in a news article not too long ago, it was stated that we were expecting a $17 million deficit for the year. Well, there was a line in our budget message that the first raw number was $17 million deficit. It included the information that there would be a bond refinancing that occurred after the fiscal year started, and we were 99% sure that would happen. But because we are very, very cautious and prudent, we didn't include that in the projection, even though we knew it would come. So Mr. Esparza has a brief presentation about some of the things I've talked about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is David Esparza. I'm the Assistant City Manager, Chief Financial Officer, and I'm going to walk you through this quick presentation on just kind of how our reserves and budget started this year. This was the start of the budget. As you remember, when we were projecting at that time, at the very beginning of at the fiscal year, that we'd have a $17.7 million shortfall. The lines below it show the steps that the mayor and council placed and put in place to address that. And you can see that we reduced that through the healthcare savings and vacancy savings down to 11.5. The final $11.5 million of the shortfall was going to be covered by general fund reserves. General fund reserves, the shortfall would have been reduced to zero. But when we were projecting this, at the time, at year end for 2017, we were projecting general fund reserves of $19 million. Budget operating shortfall of $17.7 million, which included $3.6 million in capital improvement projects, which, I wanted to point out that the capital improvement projects are optional, they're not mandatory, so they're done at the city's discretion, based upon available. And at that time, we were anticipating a one-time general fund cash infusion from the pension bond refinancing of $33 million. That's what we were anticipating before, process.
And that refinancing saved us over $1 million a year in payments, is that correct? All right, so we did it for a financial benefit, all right.
Yeah, it was a very sound financial decision and strategy to go and refinance. The actual results, ended the year with $24.9 million in general fund reserves versus with our audited final. Then instead of the $33 million that we were anticipating, we actually received from the refinancing of the pension bonds $36.5 million. This transaction was closed on November 14th, 2017, about a month and a half after the start of the fiscal year, which is the reason why we were very cautious in calling that number out before the budget was actually passed. Because of the market at the time, we actually benefited by an additional. At the end of, as of 7/31/2018, we're projecting our year-end surplus to be $30.6 million.
So from 2010 to 2011 budget with an $18 million deficit, we've come to this year with a $30.6 million surplus, a $48 million turnaround.
And the projected general fund reserves will be
Now, and that's I want to make it clear, that's cash. That doesn't include saleable land.
No, that's correct.
That's cash. Don't we have a certain amount of other monies available to us in the form of saleable land and assets the city has?
Yes, we do.
Do you know what that number is offhand? So actually, in total reserves, we have over $87 million available to the city to use for a crisis. All right, thank you very much.
This is all very liquid here. It kind of worked itself out through the course of the year. You can see we started at 2017 with $19 million operating shortfall of 17. Expecting a bond refinancing We actually got to 24.9 million, 6.5 in the bond refinancing.
And just to make it clear, the difference between the general fund is that's money that we have sitting like in the bank, completely liquid for us to use for emergencies. And the surplus that we garnered this year, that's revenues received over and above what we spent. Is that right? All right, thank you very much, Mr. Esparza. Thank you. Any council questions?
No, just a
All right.
quick comment, Mayor, just regards to, obviously, this was, to shed light on our situation for the initiative to seem, reasonable, right? And I just wanted to go back to the initiative, which I support, which, you know, obviously, I just wanted to see, maybe, Mr. Esparza, and I did do, the research on this. How many actual, jobs does this affect? And Mayor, you could answer if you know it offhand. I think it was,
There are a number of them.
No, I don't have
I
the,
want to say it was in the 40s when I asked.
it was about 44.
44, something like that. But I just kind of wanted to put it out there in the public that it's not this extravagant number that it impacts, and that it makes sense to bring up the folks, a lot of which, the part-time employees, a lot of them have been with us for a long time. And it has actually never moved up. So I know the positions that they are, and those are positions that they never get looked at, they never get reassessed. And so we're just kind of moving it to where they need to be. So I just wanted to point that out.
And many of these employees are seasonal, you know, as you pointed out, part-time. So, you know, they don't have, you know, this isn't a full-time career, you know, employment
Right.
for them.
Like the
So-
ones that, maybe the crossing guards and
Crossing
those,
guards.
and those are just examples of who we're dealing with. But many have been with us for a long time. So I just wanted to point that out.
Councilman Franklin?
Yes, first of all, Mr. Esparza and the mayor, I want to personally thank you for your presentation. In the past, since Eloy and I are the dean and assistant dean on the council, we have weighed in on a number of finance director presentations, and all we got was verbal comments, but nothing, a PowerPoint where we can actually see the numbers. And when we're dealing with fixed costs that we're now weighing into, we need to have some stability, knowing that that in fact it's going to be constant, but we can sustain it. And that's why I'm really glad to see that both the mayor and the finance department, and along with Sharon Koricki as well, making a significant notification publicly that we can now see comfortably, knowing that when the vote we're going to make will be a sound decision for the benefit of our community and the city. Thank you.
Councilman Padilla?
Thanks, Mayor. You know, again, thank you. It's a great initiative. For us as a council, as you know, I personally reflect back a few years ago when we were struggling, and right after I got elected, and we had to make some tough decisions. But at that time, we even told all our employees that, you know, we're going to make, you know, correct this process and make you right. And this is the beginning of that. Because we truly want to make sure that all our employees have a sustainable wage where they can raise their families, pay for the food, pay for a roof over their head, and then have some spending money. And so again, this is something that's really good. And it's something that, you know, lets folks know that Inglewood is headed in the right direction. And we're going to continue to move forward and do all the things that we do, but we couldn't do it also without the community support, the support that you guys give us every single day. And so I just want to make sure that, you know, we appreciate that, and then our city staff for all the work that they do every single day. So with that, thank you so much.
Councilman Dustin, do you have any comments?
I just basically want to thank the mayor and Mr. Baza and his team for the wonderful job they have done. And it doesn't happen without teamwork. So that means that everybody in the city has done their part to make this come true. And like Padilla said, Wolf was elected, this city was in big trouble. And I'm so proud to be part of a unit that brought this city to this position. I don't care how you feel about any of us up here. This speaks for itself. That we do all this with your support and your help. So don't think we forgot about any one of you. Know that all things happen when the team works together. So with that.
Okay, and I want to, before I talk about what the budget impact's going to be, I want to tell you, unlike Councilman Dotson, I do care how you feel about me. It hurts my feelings. But the total impact is going to be $131,378.98, of which we will draw from our reserves. So is there a motion?
Been moved and
Sorry,
seconded.
sorry, Mayor. Sorry there.
Madam Clerk?
Members Dotson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
So now we'll go back to 01.
Now 01.
Staff report recommending the introduction of the fiscal year 2018-19 salary ordinance.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Dotson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds,
Aye.
and Hoover. Thank you.
A1.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a number of different closed session items. The first one was CS1, Gomez versus City of Inglewood, Los Angeles Superior Court case number BC 645972. That's an incident that occurred at Ed Vinson Park. As to that, there was discussion held, direction given to staff. CS2 was Jones versus City of Inglewood, Los Angeles Superior Court case number BC 641926, which was a trip and fall that occurred in the City of Inglewood. Discussion was held, direction given to staff. CS3 was a anticipated litigation regarding an employee that was involved in an auto accident. Status was given to the City Council and direction given to staff. The fourth one was a joint session between the city and the successor agency regarding two properties. The first one was property located at 3900 West Century Boulevard. Negotiating party was Grand Pacific 7-28 LLC, and the second property was 10003 South Inglewood Avenue. The negotiating party for the first one, was, as I mentioned, was Grand Pacific. The second one for the second property on Inglewood Avenue was Armando Navarro and Patricia Navarro. The city was, and the successor agency was the city manager, executive director, Artie Fields. As to those two items on those properties, a discussion held and direction given to staff. As to A2, Mayor, there's no additional reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1.
No city manager reports today.
DC1.
No reports. Thank you, Mayor.
DT1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to mention a rather interesting article that appeared in the Los Angeles Times, and I've been seeing articles similar to this, in the New York Times, as well as other periodicals. And the article is entitled, A Dire Bankruptcy Trend Among Seniors. And it points out that seniors are making up a larger share of bankruptcy filings. And it points out that the overall financial health of the 65-plus is likely to be just the tip of the iceberg. And some of the factors that it pointed out that could have been part of the reason is some of it could have been lack of savings or bad decisions. But one of the other items that pointed out was that corporate defined benefit plans, pension plans, producing what retirement experts have called a brief golden age when many American workers could retire with some bit of confidence, have been replaced, of course, with defined benefit plans, have given way to defined contribution plans, such as 401ks, and where seniors are actually making their own investment decisions, and many of them don't really have the expertise to do that, and that has been part of the cause. So it just went on to point out that the over 65 population has risen by 16% since 1991, but bankruptcy filings for that group has risen by two and a half times. So that was something I've been seeing in a number of the newspaper as of late. And this article is dated August the 8th of this year. And then another article that pointed out Americans struggle with financial stress in spite of our economy that's in a so-called uptick now. It says, despite an improving economy that should be easing the financial struggle of all Americans, a growing number of low and middle income households are plagued by high debt and have little or no savings. And the financial strain have especially worsened for those near the bottom of the economic ladder. It points out that about 76 million U.S. households make up the bottom of 60% of income earners, with take-home pay of $65,000 or less. And one additional, because I usually do my student intern program, and this one I saw, and I will be doing that program in October, points out that millennials are mirrored with debt and are stuck basically in a financial ditch. And this article points out that while many people are on the strong financial footing after economic recovery, many young people feel very much left behind, especially if they're juggling low-paying jobs even after graduation. And the problem is millennials are bringing home significantly smaller paychecks, tend to be less likely to own a home, and very unlikely to have savings. And this is a global, this was happening globally. And it says, on the average, he says, college graduates do make more money than those without a degree, but young adults are taking on more debt. Many, for example, that graduate from law school or graduate with debt of $65,000, $80,000, which makes it very difficult, you see, for them to get into the home buying market. So this is on a global basis that's what seemed to be happening around the country. So I just thought I'd mention that, and that it's been appearing in the newspapers and other periodicals that I read quite frequently over the last 18 months. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, need to open 01 with a motion that not 01.
I'm sorry, I
Hold on
can't
one
hear
second.
you, Mayor.
Hold on 1 second.
Reopen.
We need to reopen 01 and include the vote and recommendation from the mayor's initiative.
I move that we amend item 01 to include recommendations,
Second.
which is the initiative to increase the minimum wage for the City of Inglewood municipal employees effective October 1st, 2018, increase the minimum salary for City of Inglewood municipal employees to $13.09 an hour, and effective July 1st, 2019, increase the minimum salary for the City of Inglewood municipal employees to $15.05 an hour, and I make that by motion.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. H2.
Staff report recommending approval of the Inglewood Housing Authority Homeowners Assistance Program guidelines to provide certain home loan acquisition, financing, and qualified load to moderate income purchasers of homes in the city of Inglewood.
So move.
Second.
Second, we'll have a brief staff report by our Gender Singh.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Before I begin my presentation, I want to acknowledge how much the Mayor and Council have made the issue of affordable housing a priority for city staff. That priority has led to the development of the Home Buyer Assistance Program that I'll be presenting today. But before we talk about the program, it's important to talk about what the city has achieved over the last few decades in affordable housing. I don't want to go over a laundry list of what's taken place over the last 40 or 50 years, but I am going to touch on some of the larger developments that we've worked on over that period. 1976, Inglewood Meadows, 199 affordable units. 1977, Regent Plaza, 107 affordable units. 1997, Westside Residence Hall, 301 affordable units. 2004, Osage Senior Villas, 91 units. 2011, US Vets, 196 units. 2011, Regency Tower, 104 units. 2013, Regent Square Apartments, 145. And in 2018, our most recent, Path Eucalyptus, which will be adding 40 affordable units and be coming online before the fiscal year is out. Now, what can be lost when you read through a list like that is how much the city has accelerated adding affordable units. From 1969 to 2010, that's 41 years. We added 864 units. That's 21 units a year. From 2011 to 2018, just 8 short years, we added 659 units. That's 82 units every single year in affordable housing. Under Mayor Butts and the current city council, we've had 4 times the amount of development that we've ever had in the history of the city. That level of development is almost unheard of for a city our size. So what impact has all this development had for the city? First, we need to look at the total number of households. 36,389 is the total population of households for our city. Renter occupied, that's 22,942. That means 63% of all of our residents are renters. Owner occupied, which is 13,447. 37% of all residents in the city are homeowners. So first we'll look at the rental portion. The total number of affordable rental units that the city has helped to bring on board is 2,846. That represents 12.4% of all the rental units in the city have been made affordable directly from the actions of this city. Next, we want to look at owner-occupied units. Current first-time home buyer loans that are active, 192. Prior first-time home buyer loans that were paid off, 113. Rehab loans that were paid off, 141. So the total number of families that the city has assisted is 446 to either become homeowners or to stay within their homes. Now, we just don't want to talk about what we've done as far as past accomplishments are concerned, but we also want to talk about what's in store for the future. We have over 170 affordable units in various phases of implementation at this moment. And one of those reasons is that affordable housing is such a high priority for the city. In fact, we have regular affordable housing meetings that involve multiple departments throughout the city and take quite a bit of resources. That includes the city manager's office, housing, economic and community development, finance, and outside legal counsel. And the only topic of discussion during these meetings is to address the affordable housing needs of the city. One program that's emerged from these meetings is this affordable housing, is the home buyer assistance program that I'll be presenting for you today. The goal of this program is to help low and moderate income families purchase a home in Inglewood. A quick description of the program. This is funded with $2 million in housing bond funds. So I want to make this very clear, there is no impact to the general fund. The maximum mortgage assistance per family will be $350,000, which is on par with the amount of resources that we provide for affordable rental units. The maximum purchase price of the property will be $600,000, and there will be no repayment requirements if you follow the program guidelines. Now, there are a few restrictions. You need to be able to qualify for a conventional mortgage of $250,000 to participate. There is a minimum down payment requirement of $7,500, and you may not have owned a home in the last 3 years. Household income. Applicants' household income cannot exceed 120% of the Los Angeles County area median income to qualify. So for a family of one, that's $58,200. But for a family of four, that's $83,150. The selection process. We'll be using a lottery to select the participants for this program. Preference will be given to Inglewood residents. Now, Inglewood residents will be defined two ways. First, it's people currently living in the city, but also persons that have lived in the city for 3 of the last 5 years. So if you've historically lived in the city of Inglewood and you moved out 2 years ago because your rent went up or for any number of other reasons, well, we still want to consider you to be a resident and allow you to have a preference in the lottery to make sure that you also get a chance to be a homeowner. This is expected to assist 5 to 6 households to purchase a home. The market for this program, there are currently 34 properties for sale in Inglewood that are below the $600,000 maximum purchase price. That is 18 single-family homes and 16 condos and townhomes. This is a relatively large number of properties for program participants to choose from. We didn't want to duplicate the programs of some other cities that only allowed the purchase of very undesirable properties. So one thing that was important was to make sure that the dollar amounts were high enough to where people could have some of the better properties in this city, and that's why this program would allow such a large inventory to choose from if you were to get selected for the program. Next steps. We'll start to advertise the program on the city website and local newspapers. We'll be reaching out to local real estate agents to educate them about the program. We'll also be reaching out to lenders to make the program a little bit easier for the participants who will be involved in the program. And we'll also start to determine a submittal timeline that will be released to the public shortly. That concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you. I move approval of items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
We had a motion.
Have a motion?
Yes, we do.
We had a motion.
Have a motion.
Had a motion.
Madam Clerk?
Housing Authority members, Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
Aye.
Mayor, if I could just make one quick comment, to make sure that the advertisements and the outreach are also done bilingual in English and in Spanish, please. Thank you.
Public comment. Any person who wishes to address City Council on any matter not connected with city business elsewhere may do so at this time.
I just wanted to come and personally invite everyone out to the Inglewood Police Department Citizens Academy. We'll be starting on September the 11th, and we're asking for all of the community to come out. We're going to start off with 28 people. I'm sorry. We're going to start off with 28 people. We've only gotten 5 so far, so we're encouraging everybody to come out, if you're a citizen of Inglewood, to come out and enjoy our police academy.
Thank you.
object to all this fake news they're giving you. Bait and switch sounds good, but you can't respond because they've already closed out and they don't have to. The way the system is, keeps them from putting their foot in their mouth because they get to close out before they open it up to us. Congressman Waters talk about violations by Trump until she cleans up the mess she made of the Vietnam veterans or any veteran in this. She needs to pay for that and be accountable. Here's a veteran as of a couple of weeks ago, 2 years. She did a military obligation. She filed for an application for her citizenship. She's been 2 years waiting, and she's done her paperwork. You talking about this is crap, treason, everything they're laying on you. Why should this woman who served her country and did what she was asked have to wait 2 years, still have no response to her applicant?
Thank you,
The
Mr.
application
Parker.
should have been the same time
Mr.
she
Parker.
didn't finish her obligation.
Mr.
as a part of
Parker.
the process. And you believe what they're telling you?
Mr. Parker, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Texera. Last week, the front page story of the Daily Breeze proved again that James Butts is unfit to be mayor. The city's June 12th council meeting video initially showed James Butts getting so mad at Diane Sombrano that he closed the meeting and angrily stated, quote, "Go choke yourself, Diane." Ms. Sombrano complained. The city hall edited out Butts' threatening statement from the video, and then Butts lied about it and denied it. But I had a copy of the first video, and last week I asked the mayor to play it during the public comments. But James Butts again refused to show the public him saying, quote, "Go choke yourself, Diane." So although no other mayor would ever say that in a council meeting, we have to know that I am going to play a copy of what he said right now. And don't look at him. Don't look at him and say no.
No, you're
I
not
can't
going-
play it?
No, you sir. You
What,
can't.
what council rule says that I can't play it?
Because we don't do broadcasts.
It's not in the council rules.
I said you're not going to play it.
No, it's not in the council rules. Why can't I do it?
Because I said so and I'm the chair.
Okay. I'm just going to do it next week. I'm going to come right up and play it.
Please come back every time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mona Vieira. I'm interning for the Assembly Member of the Office of Assemblywoman Autumn Burke. We would like to invite everybody to our Small Business Resource Forum on Thursday, September 13th, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., open to residents, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. It'll be in here at Inglewood City Hall, Community Room A. We'll be discussing tax credits, access to capital, and offering free counseling services and much more. With that being said, we hope you can make it, and please pick up a flyer outside. Thank you.
Council members, I hope you're very much aware of the fact that you are participating in this and that it's amazing. We paid so many dollars for this and $82,000 a year to have this thing work and it doesn't. That you're participating. So you will have your little place in the sun to go as well. It's amazing how this council chooses not to allow the public to attend meetings. You restrict us, and you went out and said you never treat people poorly? Excuse me, you've thrown out people. You've had 7 officers right here with only 45 seats when you had 10,000 people out here and only 6 officers. Somehow you seem to have forgotten safety of the residents is important. And maybe that's why we had that shooting on 112th last night. Maybe that's why there were 3 others on Hill and Beach last night. More importance about your image than the safety of this community.
Mayor, City Council and staff, Ray Davis, 2nd District. Just want to take my minute to publicly and personally thank everybody who had anything to do with that is on another form, fantasy come true. My hope, my prayer is that the city of Inglewood sports and a culture. I'm going to go through that school that'll go on to be the next Aretha, next Chick Corea, the next Herbie Hancock. We have to show that we're worthy of people like that. That's my 2 cents. Thank you very much. Praying for you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council, staff. My name is Aldine Swan. I'm from First District. Number one, I'm very upset about all the murders that are happening in Inglewood. I mean, one right after the other, and I'm wondering where the police are when these things take place. They should be monitoring our streets. And with all the strangers that are going to be coming in because of the new venues that are going up, the sports venues and all, it's more important. The other thing is, I do think we should have a forensic audit of Inglewood. I really do, because I'm not satisfied with the reports that I'm being told. I'd like to have a forensic audit and then have them tell us what is what. The other thing is, I think that no problem is going to be solved by the conscientiousness of those who create the problems in the first place. Thank you.
That is amazing. And it's right here in our city. We're going to have kids learning to play instruments that we only dreamed about a few years ago. So I'm so proud of that. I'm proud of this team that we were able to even get that to happen here. So if you're not proud of that, then oh well. I want you to set your calendars for September the 22nd. It's a Saturday from 9 to 12. You can come out and shred your important documents, and it's all for free. And you can have a cup of coffee and a donut while you're there. All on my dime. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, and let's not forget about the mega block party this Saturday. This is one of the events you don't want to miss because okay. This, right. So what was that all about? Okay, anyway, come out to this coming Saturday at the Mega Block Party. Paint with the mayor or paint with me, and enjoy a lot of different food and a good entertainment. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Wanted to remind everybody, September 1st, District 2 picnic and the chili cook-off at North Park starting at noon. So please put that on your calendar, and we'll see you all there. Thank you and enjoy your week.
Councilor Franklin, District 4.
Yes, thank you everyone that came and spoke at the podium and gave their concerns of issues brought before the city. And I'll just conclude by saying I just want to reach out and acknowledge that my wife and I just celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations, Ralph.
Councilor Morales.
Thank you. Just briefly, I wanted to just highlight a quick program that Local 1506, the Carpenters, had at the Veterans U.S. Vets on Hendry. A gentleman in the middle, which is a U.S. vet suffering from PTSD, started planting around the area and really blossomed. There are some veterans who are on wheelchairs and can't reach the planters. And the carpenters came out, gentleman Kyle with the thumbs up there, they brought out all the carpenters and they built a number of them so that the U.S. vets that are in wheelchairs can participate in the program. And these are folks that have PTSD. It was just a great program. I just wanted to highlight them. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, and real quick, as mentioned already, the Youth Orchestra Los Angeles will be relocating to Inglewood. There was a press conference on last Wednesday, and it was a historic press conference because it celebrated more than sports returning to Inglewood. It was the initiation of high-level culture and training available to the youth of the city of Inglewood. And the LA Phil will spend about $15 million to renovate the old Security Pacific Bank to turn it into a concert hall. They're going to expand their program by 1,000 children, of which we are seeking 300 to be Inglewood youth to participate. History was made again last Wednesday. I want to congratulate everybody that was involved. Negotiations, Melanie McDade, Chris Jackson, Royce Jones, myself, Artie Fields, and this is a result of a year of hard work, and it culminates in the LA Philharmonic having a presence here permanently in the city of Inglewood. Thank you very much, and we're adjourned.